Welcome to the Rocker Skating Podcast, and we're so excited because this is a preview show, and this is the first of many preview shows that you're going to get this season. I'm Jackie Wong, Chief Skate Nerd of RockerSkating.com and the Rocker Skating Podcast. I am joined by Michelle and Tara, and I'm not talking about Michelle Kwan and Tara Lipinski. I am talking about Michelle Ellis and Tara Nichols. Tara, welcome. This is your first appearance on the show.
Thank you. Long-time listener, big fan, first time appearing. No, it's great to actually have a chance to jump on and chat with both of you. It's been fun sort of getting my groove back in the figure skating world by editing and producing on this show. And here we go. Another Grand Prix season.
Well, you're making us sound good, especially with our hot mic issues the last couple of weeks. But we are good to go now because we did a lot of troubleshooting beforehand. Tara, if for those of you who don't know, Tara and I used to be on Ice Talk, the version 3 of Ice Talk, or maybe version 2 of Ice Talk. Version 1 of Ice Talk was me and Nick McCarville. Version 2 of Ice Talk was Tara and me. And then version 3 was Tara and Mirai, or was it the other way around? I don't remember.
I think it was the other way around, but
it was the other way around. Okay, so it was version 3. It was version 3. It was Tara and Mirai first, and then Tara and me. And then we got canceled. Not really. They were just like, oh, we're not going to do this anymore. Fine. So that's why now you have the Rocker Skating Podcast.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Grand Prix of France. Ooh. Oh.
I'm excited. I'm ready.
So exciting.
I'm so jealous of literally everyone on my Twitter feed that's there today watching practice.
I know. There's a lot. There's a lot of practice. Yeah. A lot of practice footage that's going out there. It's always nice, I will say, to have fans there in the audience taking videos. They technically aren't really supposed to, but they're really not going to enforce that kind of stuff. They will enforce it if I took videos, which is why you never see me take videos. At least I don't put them out right away.
Would the ISU come after you? Or is that just an IOC
oh
thing?
yes.
Really?
Yes. Oh yeah. It's all about the television rights and stuff, right? Because if I'm there as part of media, that literally violates the whatever contract or whatever that I'm part of. So that's why you'll never see videos from me, at least not instantly. You might see some clips later on when nobody cares. But, I will always be on the lookout for something.
Like Wakaba's practice triple axel in Beijing.
Exactly.
I went into the video area to shoot.
Yeah,
I love it.
exactly.
I see it on your Twitter once a month.
Yeah, it's great. All right. We're going to start. We're going to start with the grand dame of them all, maybe, which is ice dance. Ice dance is very intriguing this week. In many ways, right? The first of which is that the field is so deep that you've got a Bratti and Somerville who were bronze medalists here last year who probably won't even be on the podium, but they're part of this group, right? And there's 8 teams here who could score over 180 points, which is just nuts. And then I'll let the elephant out in the room already. Fournier-Beaudry and Cizeron are making their international debut, and we have no idea what's going to happen because we saw some bonkers scores from French Masters, which we know won't translate to the actual international competitions, but how close will they be? That is a question. And they're up against 2 world medalists. Michelle, I see you already. What is going on?
I strongly disagree with the statement that we don't know what's going to happen. I know what's going to happen. And what's going to happen is, I saw those 1-foot turns at French Masters. Fournier-Beaudry and Cizeron are going to get insane scores. I don't know about the rhythm dance because they're debuting a new one to Vogue by Madonna, which I'm imagining carries over some of the voguing movements from their Vogue Depeche Mode. We'll see. But the free dance, I think they're going to get like a disgustingly high score. Like it's going to be like Olympic champions. Here they are. I just feel like it's in the water. It's like it's going to happen. And yeah, well, this is their like coming out coronation from the French Fed. I'm not saying it's unwarranted. I just feel like it's inevitable.
It's just a crazy thing of them being a first time like debut team
Yeah,
potentially getting huge scores.
it's hard to believe. Yeah.
And we'll see how it goes. We'll see
Mhm.
how they skate, and the scores will be the scores. But it's always good to see good skating.
Mhm.
It's always good to see things scored correctly, but it's also
Mhm.
like ice dance. You never know with some of these things. But yeah. Tara,
Ye-
I'm just gonna ask you, like, what you've been listening to all of this over the last couple of weeks. Like, what do you think of all this?
So there are two pieces to this, right? One is feeling like perhaps the scores are unwarranted, and if that's the case, then it's very frustrating to have this Olympic season kind of start off with a team that feels like it's maybe bumping everyone else around a little bit in how things will shake out. But of course, the second piece of it is that this is a team that is no stranger to some controversy and to some drama, and all of that being tied to, oh, now they're going to come out and skate however they skate, and will it be warranted, will it be not, what will the drama be? So I mean, it's ice dance, right? This is what you
Yeah.
expect in that world and in that landscape to some degree. But I do think it's always interesting when that happens at the start of an Olympic season as opposed to the start of an Olympic cycle, because it feels a little bit unfair in terms of the teams that have been there for the full cycle and what they're putting in and what they've built and what they've developed over that time, to then just sort of insert this
Mhm.
potential super team of sorts without even including any of the other distractions and conversations that have happened. It just feels a little odd, I think, for fans, for perhaps other skaters even, to be put in that position. So I think it takes away a little bit of the attention from the teams that have been there and have building and have had their eyes on this season for a long time. And that part of it's always going to feel a little bit odd. It's always going to feel strange. I think, to your point, Michelle, it might very well be warranted. These are not
Mhm.
talking about two skaters that have never had success before, right? We're talking about a team that is built on two athletes who have put in an entire lifetime of work for this sport. So there's a good chance that it will be good and it will be
Mhm.
worth, high scores. But where that lands them in sort of the rankings that have happened over the last 4 years, it just feels like it could get a little weird even before it starts.
I mean,
Yeah.
I think you hit it on the nail, hit the nail on the head on that one because it we haven't seen anything yet, right? We haven't seen them compete internationally. We
Mhm.
haven't seen the new rhythm dance, like Rochelle was saying. All of this swirl is around the feeling of what
Mhm.
could happen, and that's already, I feel it too. Like as much as I'm trying to be objective about this, is like, okay, well, it's hard to not be sort of wrapped up in it. So I think I that is sort of the thing that I want to just acknowledge.
It's kind of crazy too that we're starting off and we're so focused on them and talking about them when the other two teams here have had a big rivalry the last like two
Yep.
seasons. And, the Italians, Guignard and Fabbri, we haven't seen them at all this season. Haven't seen their programs, haven't seen anything. The last time we saw them, they lost out on a world medal to Lila Fear and Lewis Gibson, who have been competing quite frequently so far this season. And we've
Yep.
seen their material, we know it, we've seen it change already. Yeah, so that matchup is really interesting too, and I feeling like I'm really excited to see the Italians' programs. I want to see their material, and then I want to see how they wash out against Fear and Gibson so early in the season, how that's going to play out. But I
Yeah.
just, I, I feel like it's going to be bronze and silver. Sorry, it's just yeah.
We'll see where that goes.
Hmm.
It is. I think the consensus is that those three are going to be on the podium.
Mhm.
And that's to say Fournier-Beaudry Cizeron and Gibson and Guignard Fabbri in some order.
Mhm.
And then there are some great teams who are going to unfortunately be left off the podium, right? Reed Amberlicious
Mhm.
had their sigh of relief skates at
Mhm.
Chinese double horn and got the Olympic spot, and now they can kind of rest easy and do what they are supposed to do during the season as opposed to like trying to be qualifying for the
Mhm.
Olympics. Davis Smokin, who we've talked about the last couple of weeks, making improvements and putting out some very good programs already. They're competing for a third time in 3 weeks, so that's also
Yeah.
something to watch out for. They are not the only ones doing that this week here. So that's ice dance.
The
Tara,
only other thing that I would add, because I've been quietly screaming it as I'm editing these episodes the last several weeks, I just want to echo what has already been said about the 90s music this year. I love
Yeah.
90s music. I am not enjoying these programs.
No.
And I think
I
it's
was
just
excited and like didn't happen.
same. I thought, okay, this is going to be fun. It's going to
Mhm.
be, very engaging and, digestible for an audience, right? I just am not it, and I wanted to so badly, and I'm hopeful. The other thing that's interesting, right, is there are still top teams that we have not seen anything from yet. So it'll be
yeah.
interesting to see when all of these programs are out there and as
Mhm.
they kind of grow and develop throughout the season. But it's been interesting hearing some of the feedback even from the athletes that they're not
Mhm.
having fun either. And maybe that's
Th-
part of it, right? Is that what we're seeing and feeling is kind of the awkwardness that they are also feeling as they're trying to do their best with these programs and these rhythms, but I was not expecting it to be as awkward as it has
Mhm.
been.
I gotta say, there's some times with these rhythm dance themes where maybe it's a little Stockholm syndrome-y, but toward the end of the season, I'm like, these are great. Like I think about that year of hip hop rhythm dances, and like
Mhm.
I feel like by the time the season ended, I was like, yeah, I can do this. This is like some of these are fun. Or like 2018 when everybody was skating to Despacito, and
Oh my god.
we were in Pyeongchang, and it was
Yeah.
like, 5 Despacitos in a row or whatever, and it was like, okay, well, this is fun. I don't know. Maybe it is Stockholm syndrome.
I think it's the beat requirement that is cutting out all the 90s music, like, because it
Yeah,
has a certain number of beats per minute, and, that we haven't seen a Macarena, have we? I don't think I've seen one,
no.
and
Mm-mm.
that seems like it would be, like, the Despacito of the year, so that tells me that it's too restrictive, whatever timing requirement they have on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, whatever is making everybody do Backstreet Boys. All right,
Mhm.
speaking of
I love
boys,
the Backstreet Boys, but not as
not
many
like
times as I've
10
seen.
of them.
There's so many other
Yeah.
choices.
Speaking of boys, let's go over to the men's event. One, because I wanted to talk about the other skater who is in his third consecutive competition of the last 3 weeks, which is Nika Gatse.
Mhm.
And two, because this is going to be, I think a lot of people are expecting this to be the Ilya Malinin show, um, and should be a comfortable win for him. But the last time we sort of said this at uh, Grand Prix de France, he got beaten by Adam Sow. Was that
Mhm.
was he wasn't here last year, right? That
I
was
think it
two
was 2
years
years
ago.
ago. Yeah.
And so that was the last time that Ilya lost in international competition was at Grand Prix France. And it was to Adam Xiao, who's
Mhm.
here and and if anybody's been listening to our podcast here know that he's been having struggles this season,
Mhm.
but he has been making strides. So which one shows up? He's the one, Adam is the one who's going to be the one who can challenge Ilya the most based on technical content, based on overall program, that sort of stuff.
I think we'll get a good short program out of him, but we'll see how he can do through the free skate. Um, yeah. I'm really excited to see Miura, although I saw a pretty scary video of him wiping out on a quad loop on Twitter today. That was that was rough. Yeah.
There's a reason we call him chaotic.
Mhm. And then we have the 2 Americans, Max Naumov and Andrew Torgashev, in addition to Ilya, so we have 3 Americans, but I think that Max and Andrew are really, the 2 that are probably closest to the front of the line in contention for the third American Olympic spot. So
Yeah.
they have a couple matchups scheduled this season, so we'll be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, and both of them have started off the season fairly well, like
Hmm.
relatively speaking for them. They are not known to be early season skaters. They tend to peak later on in the season,
Hmm.
like very dramatically peak in the later in the season.
Hmm.
But Andrew and Max have both looked solid already. Andrew
Hmm.
looking better so far than Max has this season. And then there's there's the other sort of there's in every single discipline, there's all of this sort of intrigue around who could be a dark horse and all of that sort of stuff. Lucas Britschke is
Hmm.
here, right? You got Tatsuya Suboi, who had a great season last year, who's here but hasn't had a great season yet. Mikhail Selevko can put down some crazy programs. Like there's just a lot. The many possibilities of this
Hmm.
competition are real. And I think you know to heck with my predictions, who's we don't know what's going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And I think maybe the closest thing to a solid prediction is that Ilya is going to win,
Hmm.
but even that, there's like no real big guarantee of that.
Hmm.
I think it'll be interesting to watch this season if there is any pressure being felt from Ilya or behind him, I guess, as he hasn't really had that in the last couple of years in terms of someone who could reach him in terms of technical content or, if he puts out the programs that he's planning, there hasn't really been anyone that would be particularly close. But especially at some of the Grand Prix events where everyone's kind of spaced out a little bit, right?
Hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see if there is a little bit of that pressure and to see if there is. I know we talked about that a lot, Jackie, the last time we were doing a podcast, even with the Nathan Chen sort of Olympic cycle and who was gaining ground and where that looked like it was going to land and how he would react to having a little bit of pressure. I think it's probably good for that to happen for Ilya early in the season. The other thing that's interesting to me, maybe more so in the men's field than the other disciplines, is just that so many of these guys have competed a significant number of times already. And that's not necessarily unusual, but it does feel like a lot of them have competed a lot more already than
Hmm.
sometimes you'll see in the top level skaters. And a lot of these are guys who maybe aren't considered that top tier, but are really close to it. And so they have as much of a chance as anyone in a field where, as you just said, menning is going to happen. You expect it to happen. So seeing them compete these programs already as many times as they have, and then seeing where that kind of puts pressure on the top guys, I think is going to be a really interesting piece to watch throughout this Grand Prix season to kind of position people for the Olympics. Maybe even a little more than we have seen in recent Olympic years, where there's not quite as clearly defined of a, I don't know, top 5, top 10. And there are so many guys kind of right on the edge of that could sneak in.
Yeah. I mean, I think it does seem like everybody's competed a whole bunch because we've been following it so well and
Right.
so much over the last 2 months. But I do agree. I think there has been an amped up level of pre Grand Prix competition with a lot of these skaters. Okay, let's move on to the pairs. Again, another one where we can see. I mean, it is literally the battle of the last two world champions, and like you're seeing it literally in the very first Grand Prix of the season, right? Miura Kihara, the 2023 and 2025 world champions, coming in and very much the favorite. They've had a really strong start to their season. Stellato-Deschamps, who were the world champions in 2024, last year had something of a dip. This year, Deanna's like, we're the underdogs. We're gonna do this, and like. And what was that about her potentially like thinking about going to
Yeah,
2030?
she
I think
gave
there was a
some
lot of that.
really interesting quotes that I just she's so hungry. She's like, I'm gonna keep going. She's considering another Olympics. People are wondering, has Max heard this plan yet? But, and she's just talking about the ambition to do the backflip in the short program. And, she's positioning it as this kind of like feminist action, like she's doing something that the men do. And she's, putting herself in that narrative. And her hunger is just like really visible,
I
palpable.
think there's so much about that, right? It's the proverbial chip on the shoulder of like one, I'm a woman, I can do a backflip, and then the second one, which is like, call me old, I'm gonna keep skating. Like
Yeah.
that is just that's the kind of moxie, if you will, that we love about Deanna Stellato, and one of the reasons why she's such one of the like sort of iconic perennial characters of this generation of skaters, which she's belonged to multiple generations of skaters now.
I just want a like docu-series just of Deanna, just following her
Good
around.
idea.
This is what I want.
The energy just
She's
radiates off of her.
such a fascinating human, and I think there's so many stories to tell there that I just find myself constantly wanting more all the time.
It would be a shame if we don't get a docuseries on Deanna Stellato.
Agreed.
And then the bronze, right? The bronze has some intrigue there.
Yeah.
Because you've got McBeath and Parkman, who have been skating very well this season. You've got Pavlova Siachenko, who we haven't seen yet.
Yeah.
And we know that they are known for their consistency, but also like, they aren't guaranteed to get big scores because their components aren't generally terribly high, all of that sort of stuff. And so you've got those two sort of fighting it out. You got Shin and Naj, who is a bit like on a redemption tour, right? After the disappointment at the Olympic qualifying event. We know they have skated well this season internally. We want them to bring that in an actual competition. If they do, they're part of that conversation. And then Kovalev, did a great short in at the Olympic team competition. Again, one of those teams that you can see good stuff from them, right? It's just a matter of whether or not you will.
Yeah, I think my money's on McBeath and Parkman, but I'm excited to see this event.
Same.
Yeah. It's kind of interesting. There are 6 different Americans in this competition. We have Megan Wessenberg skating for France and Deanna Stellato skating for Canada.
You're right.
We're not really known as a pairs creative nation, a very strong one, but we've got a lot of entries at this Grand Prix. So
I wonder if Deanna is a dual citizen or if she's just a Canadian citizen now. I don't know.
I'm sure she's a dual citizen.
I would imagine
American citizenship up because you don't have to.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, well, there you go. Yeah. So much to like about this pairs event already. And I think Miura Kihara has the edge here, but you
Sure.
know that Deanna Stellato and Maxime Deschamps are going to want to be as close as possible with the gap, if not, actually beating them. Like they want to make a statement here.
I mean, this is a throwback, but 2000 Worlds in Nice, Anasina Pezerot brought the house down with Carmina Burana. I mean, that crowd was like feral for it. And, they are French, but I feel like there's an appetite in France for that very dramatic, intense music. There's going to be a backflip in the step sequence. I think that they could really create a moment.
I mean, Deanna just needs to speak some French right beforehand.
Yeah, well, always appreciated.
All right, let's go to the women. And I feel like a broken record now. Another one where there's like a lot of ridiculously good skaters. Kaori Sakamoto is the headliner in a lot of ways because she is a multi-time world champion, and it's time to say goodbye.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, maybe she'll be like, "No, I'm not saying goodbye." Psych. But
what a power move to skate to time to say goodbye and then be like, haha, you thought.
Time to say goodbye for this season, but not
Yeah.
really. Uh, so Kaori, um, on paper, favor to win, but in no way is guaranteed to because she's human. We've seen her humanness, and um, it, we'll see how the jumps go this week, right? Um,
My
Michelle, you
money's
have
on
thoughts?
Rian Sumiyoshi.
I
I
thought
think
so. I
Rian's
thought
gonna
so.
win this. She's on a
Ooh,
streak. I mean, she's been just doing some crazy free skates, and
yeah.
yeah, she has the highest score of the people in this field. So,
Rian is very much one of those skaters who loves the beginning of the season and has
mhm,
not been able to translate that to the last half. So just like I said to Anastasia Gubanova, if she's listening
mhm.
to this podcast, please, Rian, pace yourself, especially for Japanese nationals.
But Anastasia Gubanova is like going to the Olympics.
I mean, yes,
There's
that's
no way
different.
she's not. Rian, like she's like qualifying right now. Going to the Olympics is just a
Totally,
reward.
totally.
Yeah.
Well, I love that you said that, Michelle, because
Mhm.
what we've seen with the Japan team the last couple of seasons, a couple of times, is a skater who has rocked it on the Grand Prix,
Mhm.
like a Rinka Watanabe, like a Kawamura,
Mhm.
who then didn't do as well at nationals, but
Mhm.
because of that body of work, because that they had qualified for the Grand Prix final, all of that stuff, right? Because
Mhm.
of that, they ended up going to
Mhm.
Worlds, and so um, you're right. I mean, this is the start of Japan Nationals. I mean,
Mhm.
really, the Challenger Series was already start the Japan Nationals.
That's such an interesting piece of an Olympic season strategy, though, right? Because if you are the kind of skater who tends to fade off at the end of the season, even if you go out really strong, in an Olympic season where first of all, it's a longer season to get to the end of it than a normal year is. Plus, if you're trying to make sure that all of those early season competitions are building that body of work for you, it almost just adds another layer of challenge to what you would normally be doing in a season because all those early season competitions matter. But if you then run out of steam by the end of it, then your potential Olympic experience could be
Right.
a little bit compromised there too, right? So for a skater who is known to really embrace that beginning of the season and skate really strong coming out of the gate, you how do you pace yourself when you're earning your spot, but you also have
Mhm.
to save some for the end of the
Yeah.
season, particularly for the Olympics if you make it?
Well, I mean, we kind of saw that in 2018 with Kaori because she
Mhm.
she she did a lot at the beginning of the season to get herself to the Olympics. She wasn't really even in the conversation for the Olympics until she started winning Grand Prix, and it was like, okay, well, you're actually like part of this now. And same thing with Manakawa Bay in 2022, right?
Oh,
She
poor
had
Mana.
she had that she had a great Grand Prix series and then sort of started trailing off, and then the Olympics weren't so great. So pace yourselves, but also this is part of your Olympic journey.
Mhm.
Speaking of which, Isabella Vito is also having that same thing, right? She wants to make sure that she's on the podium, gets all of the things that is part of that body of work for later on this season. But then, right, Ami Nakai, Jia
Mhm.
Shin, like Young Yu, like
Young
Cheon
you.
Kim. Yeah, Young Yu. Cheon Kim. We don't know what's going to happen
Mhm.
with Cheon Kim. 3 weeks ago, she looked like she couldn't rotate jumps.
Yeah.
I I am willing to bet she's going to come back to this competition and be like, you tell me I can't rotate jumps? I'm going to rotate all these jumps for you. You know, there's a lot that can happen here.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm very interested. I mean, I can't even make a prediction. This ladies
No,
event is so deep. I do think it's a very good, it's not a draw, but like world ranking like order that they're skating in. It's a good spot for Isabeau because I think that Cheon Kim, if she's skating like she was skating a couple weeks ago and Isabeau follows her, that is a good contrast for Isabeau. And I'm really excited to see Young Yu. I don't think we've seen her. I saw like a handheld video of her skating at home doing an axel, but a triple axel. I'm excited to see her Titanic free skate. And yeah.
yeah, so to your point, right? Like the the overall of the actual field and where they end up placing, but
Mhm.
then the internal dynamics of who's here, right? With Kaori and Ami here for
Mhm.
Japan, like they want to be doing well with the 3 Korean women who are very much in the conversation
Yeah.
for the Olympic spots here. The French women also doing that, right? Like Laureen Shield and Leah Serna
Mhm.
are neck and neck on the race for that one Olympic spot, and like there's just a lot of internal dynamics here that that are
Mhm.
going to be interesting to see, and no doubt will be on these skaters' minds, and
Mhm.
that, back to Tara's point around like the Olympic season plays tricks on your brain, that could be a factor in this whole thing, and we just don't know.
Mhm. My one wish is that we get to see Gia Shin skate her short program the way she did at Nebelhorn Trophy. I want to see her go out clean and do a really big score. And yeah, that was a beautiful performance. And I'm excited to see her skate it again.
Oh, so much, so much. Well, that was our preview show. I liked that, didn't you?
It was
I like
fun.
that.
That's
Yeah.
good.
We will do this now every midweek for the next six weeks, including the final, for the Grand Prix. And so join us with all your hot takes and all of our hot takes and regularly temperature takes. We will be talking about a lot of stuff, and the Grand Prix of France starts tomorrow,
Mm-hmm.
and it will
9
be
a.m. Pacific
this
time.
is one of those this is one of those 3-day competitions. So the Grand Prix, there are a couple of them that are 2-day, and there are a couple of them like literally like the 2-day ones are bam, 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 4 competitions in a row, and like it's nonstop. And then the 3-day ones oftentimes are 2 on the first day, 4 on the second day, like a Super Saturday, and then 2 on the third day. And so this is one of those. So France will start the evening French time for the first day, and then it'll go all day Saturday, and then it'll be earlier on Sunday that they'll finish the last 2 events. So I hope you will join us, because we will be watching and gasping and doing all the things that we usually do when we watch figure skating. We will maybe come on and do some immediate reactions. Depends on whether or not we're available at that time. But you can always count on us for the Sunday night live show at 8 p.m. Eastern. So we will absolutely be on that to talk through what will have transpired in what is promising to be a very exciting competition in Angers, and for Michelle Ellis and our producer, editor, and this week guest, Tara Nichols. I'm Jackie Wong, chief skate nerd of rockerskating.com. I'm all talked out. We'll talk to you again soon, and enjoy the Grand Prix.
Bonsoir.
Bye. Bye-bye.